Sponsor, PaperTrail. PaperTrail is a cloud platform that promises instant, tamper-proof syncing between courts, prisons, and probation services. It auto-flags mismatched sentences, missing warrants, and release by error risks, so nobody gets a literal administrative free pass. This episode is brought to you by PaperTrail, the system that actually remembers what you sentenced. Tired of headlines? Released by mistake? PaperTrail stamps, locks, and notifies in real time so files stop becoming free passes. Go to papertrailnow.org and use code NNNTRAIL to get a mock demo and a free paper audit. PaperTrail, because society deserves fewer surprises. Because bureaucracy should trap criminals, not lose them. Promo code NNNTRAIL, free demo plus mock audit. At papertrailnowx.com, papertrailnow.org.
CellSync. CellSync is a hyper-modern prison data platform that automatically syncs sentencing records, custody orders, transfer notes, and release time sounds, or in normal language, it stops prisoners being released by mistake because someone typed the wrong number. Stop the escape, not the paperwork. This episode is sponsored by CellSync because prison walls mean nothing if the paperwork is made of wet tissue. CellSync connects courts, prisons, probation teams, and national records in real time, so nobody gets released early just because someone hit enter too fast. Built on a totally real quantum-encrypted blockchain cloud API matrix, allegedly. Go to cellsync.gov.com and use promo code BINDTHEFILES to get your first virtual audit free. CellSync. Stop the escape, not the paperwork. Sponsored by CellSync. Sync the sentence to the cell. This time, the door only opens when it's supposed to.
3 walk free. Every week, Britain's prison system has stopped holding. There's a running joke in this country that the government couldn't organise a queue without turning it into a public health emergency. We laugh. Because laughing is easier than acknowledging that the institutions meant to protect us are being held together with duct tape, post-its and good intentions. But every now and then, the humour cracks. It cracks when we realise the quirks of the British state aren't cute, they're dangerous. Case in point, prisoners being released by mistake. And not once in a blue moon, not a rare blip, not a single administrator having a bad Monday. We're talking systemic, we're talking recurring, we're talking 3 prisoners a week walking out of British prisons because of bureaucratic collapse. Somewhere between the courtroom and the cell, the justice system is shrugging and saying, oops, our bad, and the country is expected to simply carry on. The numbers don't lie, they scream. 91 prisoners were accidentally released across just 7 months. Stretch that across the year and we're dealing with enough accidental releases to form a small neighbourhood. This is not a paperwork hiccup. This is a system held together with coffee fumes and crossed fingers. Prisons are operating at near full capacity. Staff are exhausted, data systems are outdated, and the institutions dealing with life, liberty and public harm are depending on workflows that look like they were drawn up in the Windows 98 era. The Justice Secretary says mistakes are rare. Rare means once a year. Twice if the moon is full. 3 a week is not rare. 3 a week is a trend. 3 a week is a pattern. 3 a week is a quiet alarm going off in a room no one wants to enter. What released by mistake actually means... Let's break down what is actually happening because the absurdity deserves precision. Sentence miscalculations, someone typed the wrong number, someone else didn't cross-check, lost or mishandled warrants, a crucial document ended up God knows where, miscommunication between courts and prisons. One agency assumes the other handled something, the other assumes the same. The prisoner walks out. These aren't prisoners escaping through maintenance tunnels with spoons and rope-woven bedsheets. They are simply handed the door. If prisons are supposed to be the epitome of controlled space, these mistakes reveal something worse than incompetence, fragmentation, a system so overloaded that even its fundamental purpose, ensuring the right bodies stay inside, is slipping. why this isn't just about who was released. Some will say, relax, most of them aren't dangerous criminals. Which is the rhetorical equivalent of saying, don't worry, the house fire is only in the kitchen. The reality is this: the justice system can only operate if the public believes it is reliable. If victims, families, communities, and bystanders cannot rely on sentences to mean what they say, the entire concept of accountability fractures. This isn't just about physical safety, this is about social trust. And once trust goes, it does not return quietly, it returns with teeth. The sickness beneath the symptom. Accidental releases are just one crack, but they point to a deeper rot. Overfilled prisons struggling to contain, process, and track their own populations. Understaffed facilities where officers are juggling responsibilities impossible to complete correctly under pressure. Court backlogs slowing the entire system into sludge. Digital infrastructure that relies on manual entry, outdated systems, inconsistent databases. This is industrial decay, not coincidence. And when systems begin to decay, the failures become non-negotiable outcomes. Mistakes stop being surprising and start being predictable. That's where we are. The cost to victims and communities. Imagine going through the trauma of reporting a crime. The investigation, court dates, statements, waiting, praying, emotionally reconstructing yourself around the idea that the person who harmed you is contained. Then one morning, a mistake sets them free. There is no apology strong enough for that betrayal. And worse, in many cases, victims aren't even informed of these errors immediately. The system does not consider them stakeholders. They're treated like footnotes in a drama they didn't ask to star in. Public safety is not just about preventing harm, it is about honoring the emotional truth of harm already done. The political response, shrugging in slow motion. The official stance is that there's no quick fix. Translation: we don't have solutions we're willing to pay for. There is always a quick fix, but quick fixes require courage, funding, and the willingness to overhaul outdated institutions instead of managing them like money-draining relics. What we have instead is delay. Delay disguised as pragmatism, delay packaged as process, delay weaponized as inevitability. Governments don't fear failing, they fear admitting they have already failed. So what would fix this? Let's not talk in slogans, let's talk in mechanisms. 1. Real-time data synchronization. Courts and prisons need unified systems. No more fragmented databases held together by fax machines and prayer. 2. Mandatory release verification panels. No one walks out without a cross-checked, independently signed clearance. 2 signatures minimum, basic, standard, non-negotiable. 3. Emergency prison capacity relief. Stop pretending we can run a system at 99% capacity without collapsing. Either invest in building more space or reduce reliance on incarceration for low-harm offences. Choose one, but choose. 4. Victim notification protocols. If a release happens, intentional or accidental, affected individuals must be told immediately, not as a courtesy, as a moral requirement. These are not radical ideas, they are baseline functionality. The cultural truth: Britain loves the illusion of control. This is the part no one says out loud. British institutions prioritise appearing orderly over being effective. Politeness is used as camouflage for incompetence. Calm tone over correct outcome. Reassuring words instead of working systems. And we swallow it because the alternative is admitting our state infrastructure is not just flawed, it is crumbling. But the cracks are no longer quiet, they're loud, they're visible. They're walking out the front door of the prison with release papers nobody meant to sign. A closing image, a prison door clicking open, a guard signing a form without double-checking, a prisoner stepping into daylight unsure why freedom feels too easy, a victim eating breakfast somewhere, unaware that their safety just shifted by mistake, a government preparing a press release that says, "This is rare, we're reviewing procedures," and a nation that is starting to notice the pattern. The state is not collapsing in a cinematic explosion. It is failing through clerical exhaustion. 3 releases a week, not because someone escaped, but because nobody was watching the paperwork. That is the most British breakdown imaginable, and it is happening in real time. Not left, not right, just real.
Audit and Anchor. This episode is supported by Audit and Anchor, the consultancy that fixes the failure before it becomes a headline. Audit and Anchor works with courts, prisons, and oversight boards to find the gaps, repair the workflows, and ensure victims are informed, instead of blindsided. No spin, no PR gloss, just repair, accountability, and outcomes that mean something. Visit auditandanchor.co.uk and use promo code REPAIRTHEFOUNDATION to get your first case review. Audit and Anchor. Fix the leak, not the headline. Audit and Anchor. Accountability services for systems that forgot how to be accountable. System repair, not system excuses. Audit and Anchor. Because silence should not be the state's first instinct.